This video looks at the ism of realism. We were first introduced to realism in Area of Study 2 when studying power in the Asia-Pacific region, and it fits into our course in terms of describing the motives and reasons for why states respond to crises in particular ways. Realism holds the belief that the actual motivation for a nation's behaviour and the behaviour of states can be quite different from the rhetoric of leaders. Realism believes that the real purpose for state action is always in pursuit of their own security and power. Thus, under realism, the state always puts their own beliefs and national interests first, above those of others. As depicted in this photo, a common feature of realism is the use of violence by a state in order to protect their borders and security against threats, perhaps posed by other states or non-state actors. This is commonly achieved through the deployment of military troops to a region or the development and use of weapons such as weapons of mass destruction. An example of realism in the Asia-Pacific is Indonesia's deployment of 25,000 troops to West Papua in order to prevent secessionist challenges. This action reflects realism as Indonesia is putting their own security needs first, and their deployment of troops is done in order to eliminate threats to the region. This action allows Indonesia to maximise their own power and prevent the people of West Papua from breaking away from the state. Thus, the borders of Indonesia are secured and they can maintain full control over their territory. This action contrasts to that of a more moral or idealistic response, which perhaps could be demonstrated through Indonesia working diplomatically with others to resolve an issue. The term links in a number of ways to other aspects of our course. We can link it to international society by saying that a realist approach can create a poor image within the international community. So the use of realism demonstrates that a state might be only interested in maintaining their own power and status, as opposed to states working together and an international society. So this poor reputation can affect a state as it might lead other states to be hesitant to engage in diplomatic or trade relations. Realism can also link to sovereignty, as a state's use of realism is almost always in pursuit of upholding and maximising their sovereignty. By putting their own needs and interests first, a state is able to ensure they have less threats to the region and maximise their power and control over their territory. Realism links to security, as it involves the states protecting their territory and people and putting their needs first. Thus, a realist approach deals with issues and threats to territory. And finally, realism can also be linked to hard power, as hard power is often a form of power employed by a state in order to minimise threats and to maintain their security. This was certainly the case in the deployment of 25,000 troops to West Papua, where the state used hard power, a realist response, in order to protect the territory of the state.